Let's get ready, let's get ready to rumble. What just wrecked the mic? What just wrecked the mic? What just wrecked the mic? Psych. Let's get ready, let's get ready to rumble. Get ready, get steady, get rumble. Everybody rumble. That's my pitch to WWE. If you're going to do a Royal Rumble here in the UK, have Ant and Dec performing Let's Get Ready to Rumble as PJ and Duncan, then we will all be happy. And have that as the theme song for the Rumble as well. What is going on, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing good, because it is good to feel good. And first off, I just wanted to say this is my first video of 2024, so a bit belated, but Happy New Year. Hope you all have a lovely 2024, and I hope it's a great one. I'm certainly optimistic for that myself, but here's to a great 2024 nonetheless. And secondly, this video today got me excited for a few reasons, because this weekend WWE are hosting their annual Royal Rumble event, which, if I'm going to be quite honest, is one of my favourite times of the year in the wrestling calendar after WrestleMania, which in turn I'm looking forward to myself because I'm actually going again. But obviously before WrestleMania we've got the Royal Rumble itself, and with this video I am going to be doing my predictions for this year's Rumble, so yeah. Let's do some predictions. So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to outline kind of my predictions for each match, and then in turn I'm going to just speculate who I think could potentially enter in the Rumble, and also give my reasons for who I think is going to win the Rumble. But nonetheless, let's dive right into it with the Royal Rumble predictions for 2024. So starting off strong, we have Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. And I'm going to say it right now, in the last 2 years that Logan Paul's been in WWE, he has really impressed me like tenfold. Like, I remember saying like I didn't know what to expect of him when he was wrestling, or even on the mic, or even outside of the WWE's banner. And he's been putting on some cracking matches. Even in the last year, you know, his little spot in the Rumble last year with Ricochet, where they just springboarded into each other in midair. He had the match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and I remember KSI appearing as the Prime Bottle. He was in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and you know, he had a decent showing in that. He wrestled Ricochet at SummerSlam. He then won the United States Championship from Rey Mysterio at Crown Jewel, and here he is now. Then of course Kevin Owens won the #1 Contenders Tournament to face Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't think Kevin is going to win the championship. I genuinely think, you know, there's going to be some shenanigans at foot, and, you know, anything can happen with Logan Paul. But I think, you know what, they're going to have a decent match, and I'm sure there's going to be some throwback to Kevin Owens did a stunner to Logan Paul at WrestleMania a few years ago, and it got a massive reaction. I remember watching that, and it was just very fun indeed to watch. But ultimately, I think Logan Paul is probably going to retain the United States Championship. Next up, we have a four-way match with Roman Reigns defending his undisputed WWE Universal Championship against AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. And can we just simplify that the title of that belt? Because I'm just gonna call it the Uwu Championship. The Uwu Championship? No, come on. We can't. We're just gonna have to call it as it is. But anyway, this is gonna be probably Roman Reigns' like biggest challenge yet for his current title reign. It's been going well past 1,000 days. We're into its 4th year, which is just crazy. And like the last big challenge that Roman had in terms of like manpower in the ring, that was, I want to say, WrestleMania 37 again, so when he faced Daniel Bryan and Edge, and he retained, and I remember the image of him pinning both men on top of each other in dominating fashion. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens in this match, but I feel like there's going to be a dynamic effort. You know, I feel like there's going to be, you know, some near chances for each of the challengers. I think there's going to be a few RKOs dished out by Orton here and there, a few phenomenal forearms, a few blunt force traumas from LA Knight. But ultimately, given the road that we're on to WrestleMania now, I think at the very least Roman is going to be champion until at the very least WrestleMania. So I don't know what's going to happen down the line at WrestleMania as of right now, but there's all sorts that could be afoot, but we'll just have to wait and see. But nonetheless, I do have Roman Reigns to retain his... Stop it. Next up, we have the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, the announced match participants as of speaking are Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair. And I like that WWE have decided not to announce too many participants in advance, because in my opinion, like, you know, with only just a few names announced, it kind of like lends into the element of surprise. And then if there's like more than like half the field announced ahead of time, then it's just like it ruins the element of surprise. So I like that WWE have gone with that tactic this year. So I'm going to speculate who I think may appear in the match, and also give my official prediction as well. So in terms of speculation, anyone could really, that's the whole point of the Royal Rumble, is that anyone could turn up at a moment's notice. But in terms of surprise entrance for the women's match, I've kind of gone for a few names. So originally, before she got injured from NXT, I was going to say Cora Jade, but she just so unfortunately got injured recently. But nonetheless, I do wish you a speedy recovery, Cora. But also coming from NXT, I imagine potentially Tiffany Stratton might make an appearance. I think she had a very decent run in NXT this last year. And then I also think potentially the NXT Women's Champion, Lara Valkyria, could make an appearance. There's all sorts of names from NXT that I'd like to appear, but those are two that off the top of my head who I think could appear as such. I think we're going to see the WWE in-ring debut of Jade Cargill. I thought, you know what, it's impressive that she signed with them a few months ago. And obviously there's been kind of like this bidding war between Raw, SmackDown and NXT. Where is she going to appear? She's obviously unbranded at the moment, so she could appear anywhere she likes. And I also think in turn, she's going to have a very dominant showing in this match, so it could go one of a few ways really. And then also a surprise entrant, I think, given the timing that she's recently finished up with Impact, or TNA as they're now back to being called, I think Trinity, FKA Naomi in WWE, might make her return to the company, and given if all parties are kind of on the same wavelength and there's no animosity towards what happened a few years ago when she left, I think that would be really cool to see her in the match. And then this is just me being a bit ambitious with this surprise entrant. Now, given her husband recently returned to WWE, a little hint there, I think, even if it's just a one-off, I would love to see AJ Lee make a return. I don't think it's going to happen, but, if she does make a one-off return on the night, I think, her getting to chill with some of the women, getting to go down with some of the women in the match, and, even if it's just a one-off showing, I would love to see her in that. And so, yeah, AJ Lee. But anywho, on to the actual prediction for the match. And now on to my actual prediction for the Women's Rumble match. I'm going to go for Bayley on this. Now, my reason being, of course, she's been part of Damage Control for the better part of a year and a half. And of course, there have been some new recruits in the last few months. Obviously, a returning Kairi Sane and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors, are now part of Damage Control, along with Io Sky and Dakota Kai. I think they're slowly but gradually ousting her from the group. And I reckon that could come to a head in the Rumble match itself if, the other members, apart from Sky and Kai for that matter, because she's injured, gang up on Bayley, and then she she then turns on them herself. I think that could all come to a head. But in terms of a winner, yeah, I'm going to settle for Bayley on this. Definitely going to go with Bayley, and I would like to see her have a good feel-good moment as a babyface, a kind of redeemed babyface at WrestleMania this year, who knows. And then finally, we have the Men's Royal Rumble match. Now, the announced participants in this, as of recording, are Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Gunther, Kofi Kingston, and Damian Priest. Now, those first two, I'm really excited for this match. So, going with the surprise entrance for this match again. Now, I think, there could be all sorts of surprise entrants. I was toying around with the idea that, from NXT, we could have Bron the Baker, that's what he's going to be renamed as on the main roster. Bron Breakker, making his main roster debut in the Rumble match itself and having a really decent showing. It's crazy to think he's a homegrown talent for NXT, and he's, been on fire in NXT these last 2 years, and even having a whole year, more or less, as the NXT champion. That recently just finished up, at Stand and Deliver last year. I could see Carmelo Hayes showing up, trying to think who else would be a good showing. Dijak, why not? Ilya Dragunov, the current NXT champion. Do you know what? Now that I mentioned Gunter being in the match, I would love to see Dragunov show up and, like, you know, them running back, you know, their matches from NXT and NXT UK, because they were having bangers during that time. And also, in terms of surprise entrance as well, I think it made me have a little laugh with one of the commentators. You know, if Wade Barrett's on commentary this weekend, having him appear from the desk and, you know, say that he's got some bad news as he's just about to enter the ring, or even like enter himself, like, you know, down the entranceway and have a microphone in hand and say, "I'm afraid I've got some bad news." I've missed him saying that so much. Also, it's just a speculation, I remember last year when Pat McAfee did commentary for the Rumble, I honestly thought he was going to appear in the Men's Rumble at one point, but you know what? As a surprise entrance, have Pat McAfee do a Rumble spot. Yes, please. And then this prediction, again, is me being a bit too overly ambitious. I understand this year's Rumble is in Tampa, Florida, which is of course the hometown of a certain WWE superstar. And I'm not aware of his full circumstances, if he's actually cleared to wrestle or not. But again, if I were being a bit ambitious and if he were able to do so, just for argument's sake, I would love to see Big E show up and, you know, his first wrestling appearance in nearly 2 years since he got injured. Again, I'm not aware of his full circumstances, and I know he's speculated he may potentially not be able to wrestle again, but again, that's just a speculation I have. Not for definite, I don't think it will happen, but it will be amazing nonetheless if it does happen. Now on to my official prediction for the Rumble itself. Getting a bit sidetracked there with all the surprises. I have been toying around my prediction back and forth recently, like between, predictably, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. Now, I've got my reasons for the respective two men, and I will give a definitive answer to who I think is going to win. But let's have some little discussions. So, the reason I have Punk on one kind of preliminary prediction is, it's crazy to think that the Royal Rumble this weekend is 10 years to the day since he walked out of WWE, and of course one of his grievances for leaving was that he never got to main event WrestleMania. Of course he made his debut in AEW a few years ago, and of course that time in there speaks for itself. Then obviously making the grand return at Survivor Series was just incredible. I was in LA at the time, I was watching a Clippers game with my friends Brandon and Steven, and I just turned my phone on and it's like, just to check my phone, and it's like, he's bloody shown up and returned at Survivor Series, and fittingly in Chicago. But I reckon Punk may still go to WrestleMania and challenge for the World Championship. I know there's the hint with Seth Rollins, and I'm not quite sure if that will go ahead given Rollins' injury circumstances, but fingers crossed. But then I have also got Cody Rhodes, which I find ironic because I'm wearing my CM Punk t-shirt. I think, like, you know, Rhodes has had a very good year in this last year. You know, he won the Rumble last year, he main evented WrestleMania, and yes, he did lose. He had a program with Brock Lesnar where he won clean against Lesnar at SummerSlam. He was briefly tag champions with Jey Uso. He was on the winning team for War Games at Survivor Series. He's the cover star of WWE 2K24, which is releasing in a few months' time. All good stuff, so good for Cody. I'm still holding out for him to hashtag finish the story. I know it's become a bit of a running joke and a meme in itself, finishing the story recently, but I still have it out for Cody to finish his story. And if it goes all the way to WrestleMania 40 this year, and, you know, potentially say beat Roman Reigns, that would be lovely. So again, I've gone back and forth on the predictions, but I am going to settle for Cody Rhodes. And yeah, finish the story, Cody, and I can believe it in you. But I will just quickly say that I think Cody and Punk will be the final two in this Rumble, and also I think, unlike last year where Cody entered at number 30, I think Cody's going to enter somewhere earlier in the match, maybe not necessarily 1 or 2, but then obviously last a good chunk of the match. Final two is Punk and Cody, and then Cody Rhodes goes on to win it. And yeah, those are my predictions. So I'm very excited for this weekend. I'm going to Newcastle to watch it. I'm going to a Hooked on Wrestling event again, which they'll be doing a live watch along. That is going to be a load of fun, and of course I'm going to do my usual live reactions as such as well, which I cannot wait for. I think the event's going to be absolutely incredible, the Royal Rumble and the Hooked on Wrestling event, and then it's going to get me all sorts of excited in the lead up to WrestleMania this year. And as I've mentioned, yes, I am going to WrestleMania 40 this year in Philadelphia. It's going to be absolutely cracking. But yeah, I think this Rumble's going to be a good one, and fingers crossed for those predictions. I got clean sweeping predictions last year, so holding out for the same here. But anywho, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you this weekend with the Royal Rumble and my live reactions in due course, and I will leave you with some advice. That is always to enjoy yourself, stay safe, and make the most of every opportunity that comes your way. Thank you for watching, and peace.